Shall we start?
Just a second. Let me
Yeah,
see like all
the
the
recording
participants.
has
Like
been started.
a few more participants yet to join. Already 25 members
Yeah,
there. So yeah. So anyways, no problem. We can start. You know, our session.
yeah.
So
Let's start with the introduction at least,
yes.
while the other participant join.
All right then. So guys, I hope like every one of you can hear us very clearly. We are and every one of you can see the screen which Manoj is sharing right now, a notepad. So if yes, then you can chat. You can have a chat in the chat window saying yes over there. Okay. So from our end, we have already unmuted you guys. So we have muted everyone. So if at all you are having any queries, so which are very urgent, you can type it in your chat window. Okay, and you can make your screen bigger also from there. So if anything, you can.
Eraj, I think you went on mute.
No, no, no. Am I audible to you now?
Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
you're
yes.
audible.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So, welcome to everyone, guys. So, we are having Manoj with us, who is having more than 18 years of experience altogether in SAP, and he's into SAP Ariba and Fieldglass right now. So, majorly, he's working in SAP Fieldglass at the moment. Okay, and he is a solution architect. As you know, like the SAP Fieldglass is something which is very niche technology right now, and we'll be discussing the benefits, what are the opportunities we are having for SAP Fieldglass. And we have trained already like 7 to 8 batches in SAP Fieldglass, which is recently we have started in this year only, and last year also we had it 2 3 batches in SAP Fieldglass. And Manoj is having very good experience in this one, and he has successfully completed training almost 50 over participants so far in SAP Fieldglass, which is very new, I can say. And one more thing I want to tell you is like we are only in the market right now who has initiated this SAP Fieldglass training. Okay, so I request everyone to be little attentive over here. So Manoj will be starting his presentation right now. In between we'll be giving a pause. I mean, like after his presentation we'll be having a showing some of the features which is coming out of this particular training, like what are the features we'll be providing apart from live sessions. Everything we are going to discuss, then we'll take up the question answer sessions. So I request every one of you to be little patient till we have the question answer sessions. Thank you so much, guys. Over to you, Manoj. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for a very good introduction over here, Eraj. So let us begin our session now. Now, majority of you guys, who have basically come for our session, some of you know about us, some of you don't know about us. So let me just tell something about it, guys. So as you know, BOC, we are already having 11 plus years of training experience in SAP, and from Ariba and Fieldglass perspective, for the last 5 years we have been doing this Ariba training, and Fieldglass we have recently started this year, and we have conducted 6 to 7 batches as of now. uh, Few things you should also know, that in Ariba we have already trained somewhere around 2500 plus participant, and in Fieldglass we have already trained 100 plus participant. Yeah, Fieldglass we have recently started. Why? Because the thing is like it's really catching up right now. Now, few things. Our focus over here is uh, learning the practical things, not the theoretical things. Why? Because theoretical things is very easy. You just get a SAP Press book or go to the configuration guidebook of Fieldglass, learn it, done. But when you will go to a project, what happens is that is where your application of the knowledge will be used, and that is where your all challenges will begin. Okay, so that is where you have to be very very careful. Now, few things. So this is not only true for our demo session, but for every session. First, we will show the content. Why? Because as you can see, we have not opened a PPT. We are opening up a notepad, and from there, we are basically going to teach you from our experience. Second thing is, if you are having a questions, well and good, write it down. After the presentation, we will basically take the questions from all of you guys, and this will happen for not only the demo session but for every session. Okay, because it has to be very very structured. If it is not structured, then this will lead to a lot of issues later on, so that we don't want. Okay, exactly. So keep this thing in your mind. Now, few things which you should be very very few things you should be very very clear about it. Now, the first and foremost thing is, what is Fieldglass? Now, whenever I talk about Fieldglass, what happens is, like, everybody tells me, Manoj, Fieldglass is nothing but a you know uh, uh, external workforce management. And if you go to SAP Fieldglass page also, you will get the same thing. External workforce management. It's very very simple. But what is the meaning of it really? So now, before we go anywhere, first thing first, have you heard this thing before? Procurement. Majority of you guys will say, yes, Manoj, we know about the procurement. Very good. How many of you guys know about the hiring to retire cycle? That means, in specifically, all of you will say HR or success factor. Okay, these two things. So Manoj, tell me one thing. It does not make any sense. You're talking about procurement. You're talking about HR, success factor. What it has to do with FG? What it has to do with FG? So now, the first and foremost thing which we should basically understand over here is very very simple. That whenever I am talking about procurement, procurement generally happens on goods and what? Some goods and services. Correct? Now all of you will say, very very good, very very good. That is what we want to basically understand. But in procurement, we will basically have services. What services? Any kind of installation, correct? Any kind of installation you want to do it, any kind of uh, what you can say, any kind of warranty services. These are procurement. So what will happen? You will go to a PR, add the services, take the approval, PO will be sent to supplier, supplier will deliver the services, service entry sheet will happen, then based on the service entry sheet, invoice will be raised and payment will be done. Very good. Next thing is basically, we will come to HR and success factor. What happens over here? Are boss, you will try to find a new employee, try to schedule their interview. First, you search for what? Search for some new candidate. Once you find them, set their interview. Once the interview is done, you will select one and you will give a job letter. This guy will come and work for the company. Then what will happen? Every month's payslip, tax, PF, work allocation, all those things he will track until and unless this guy retire or resigns. Okay. So what it has to do with Fieldglass? See, that is why I was basically telling to all of you guys that this is very, very important. Why? Because if you go and ask SAP or any Fieldglass consultant what is Fieldglass, they will say it's a vendor management system. It's a very, very misleading name. Vendor management system, when I will basically say to somebody, everybody will say, oh, you will manage the vendors there. No. Then some will come and say external workforce management. What is external workforce management? So before we go anywhere, in a company, there are two types of employees. Okay. The first one is permanent employee. And then we are having independent contractors. It is also sometimes in India, it is called as third party contractor. Okay. So before COVID, this lockdown and all those things started in major European as well as Western countries, this figure were somewhere around 65% somewhere, and this was somewhere around 35%. And we all know after this COVID and all those stuff, what happened? All of you will say, Manus, what happened? Kya hua? What happened? So everybody started asking work from home. Everybody started saying that I want more what? I want more freedom. I want to work in a very proper project of my own choosing. Now, what is happening? These guys, they are always saying that, boss, I cannot become a permanent employee. So, according to an AC Nielsen research, this year, March, I think it was published, this figure, this year, March, you know, how is it? Now, this is not only happening, this figure, due to, what you can say, only of the employees. The employees are also saying, Are boss, why? Why I will hire a permanent employee? Because my project which are in pipelines are less. So if my project in pipelines are less, what I will do? So if I hire a permanent employees, then there will be a lot of issues. Firing them is also not easy. You have to show cause and all those things, right? So what is happening? Both the employer as well as employees are basically going through the independent contractor. That is why if you go into the current market right now, you will see that majority of the organization, they are basically, they are having, requirement for permanent job, but they are also asking for contractor jobs. Now, come to this point. Come to this point only. Let's say, for example, you're working in an IT company where you are having 100,000 employees. That means 1 lakh. 1 lakh employees is there. So if you do this mathematics, you will find out 45,000 is permanent employee, 55,000 is contractor. Please don't try to find it this thing in India. It is not happening in India. India, you can basically say 60% permanent employee, 40% is contractor. But I'm talking about the majority of the client who are implementing Fieldglass. They are belonging from Europe and US, Southeast Asia. There it is happening. Now, you will say, Manoj, I can use HR. I can use success factor for permanent employee as well as contractor. Then I will say, okay, you have to go where? Suppose you're in Delhi, you have to go to Bangalore on Tuesday morning for a meeting in your office. What you will choose, train or flight? Now here, if somebody comes and say, Manoj, I can go by train. Yes, you can go by train, but you will miss that meeting. You will reach, even today night or tomorrow morning, if you take the train, it will take at least 40 hours to reach over there. So you will reach most probably in evening of Tuesday. You will miss that meeting. So if you have to attend that meeting, you have to take a flight. There is no other option. Same thing over here. Why? Because this independent contractor, they don't have a PF. They don't fall under the 30% tax rate over there. Why? Because they will fall under that different rate altogether, 10% rate, fixed rate. And at the end of the financial year, they will do a calculation from some CA and they will fill the tax. Nothing else. No PF, no gratuity, nothing. So the company will pay the amount to the contractor by deducting a 10% flat tax. That's it. There's no other regulatory compliance, no mediclaim, no health insurance, nothing. But for a permanent employee, all those things are required. Similarly, permanent employees, they will have a bunch of leaves. They will have a separate process. Their performance will be tracked. Then they will fill up their appraisal and all those things. So those things are irrelevant to independent contractor. Independent contractor will get paid how? They will fill the timesheet. This timesheet will go to the approver, the project manager. Project manager will approve it. Then based on that, automatically invoice will be created. Payment will be done to the consultancy. Consultancy will pay the independent contractor. Oh, Manoj, yeah, I do understand now. So that means success factor HR is incapable as of now to handle this hiring of independent contractor and the life cycle of independent contractor until unless they are working. Okay, so that is where Fieldglass comes. Yes. Now let us go somewhere else. What is that somewhere else? Procurement. So Manoj, you talked about procurement with services. How it is important to us. So in procurement, you're doing services. Now, what happens is like, suppose Fieldglass is not available. I will say in success factor, I will basically hire to retire for independent contractor. I will do. Suppose there is no other option. So all of you are happy. Oh, Fieldglass is not there. So in success factor only it will happen. But wait one moment. Wait one moment. So when the hiring happens, you will see at the start of the financial year, what will happen? In US, the financial year will begin with 1st January, right? So they will basically do the budgeting. Based on the budgeting and the project pipeline, they will basically create vacancies. And based on that vacancy, what will happen? Based on that vacancies, the position will be released to the HR. Then HR will go and search for the candidates. Once they find it, they will bring them to the interview. Once the interview is done, offer letter will be released. Then they have to wait for 3 months or 2 months. In between, this guy will get a offer letter from some other organization and they will say, I cannot join. And right now, we know that majority of the projects are agile projects. Agile project means what? Even big organization, previously they used to have what? A very big project, implementation project for 3 years. Now they're not doing like that. They're basically doing the project in agile way. Agile way means what? They're breaking it up. 6 months, agile phase one. Then next 6 months, agile phase two. And within the phase one, they're basically saying 20% or 25%, 25% of the project work for the implementation needs to be completed. And then in next 6 months, 25%. So agile projects are always very dependent on the timeline. If they miss the timeline, the whole, you know, excuse me, the agile run will fail. Now imagine you have hired a permanent guy, okay, send an offer letter, and after 2 months, when this guy is about to join, they is saying, I cannot join. What will happen? You ask HR what he will do. Again, HR will say, wait for 3 months. Your agile first phase is gone blank. Failure. Then how to work on this thing? So that means the normal HR mode of hiring is not at all feasible. It may be feasible for a permanent employee, not for a contractor. Very good. So all of you will say, Manoj, so that is why procurement you are talking about. And I will say exactly correct. But here we are talking about services. No, what we need to do here, we are basically going to talk about so this independent contractor, whenever they are working, what they are doing actually, what they're doing actually. So generally what happens is like whenever I ask, okay, what is this independent contractor doing? They are doing work. No, they are basically providing services, consulting services. Correct? They're providing services. So if we can basically say that in procurement terminology, we have to do a P2P cycle, procure to pay cycle. But instead of service line item, we will talk about the services provided by the independent contractor. Can we do that kind of procurement? Is it possible? Then I will say yes, it is possible. Means what, Manoj? So both of these two things are possible in Fieldglass. That is the product differentiation. So very few Fieldglass consultants are there in the market. So whenever there is a job, requirement, I am getting over there. Every week I am getting requirement on Fieldglass, but they are saying we are not able to find. And those guys who are there, the first question is how Fieldglass is different from Ariba, because in Ariba also you have timesheet. How Fieldglass is different from SuccessFactor, because SuccessFactor also can be used to build, hire independent contractor, fill their timesheets also. So how Fieldglass is different? No answer. Nobody is able to give the answer. But this is the answer. So if we want to do in Ariba procurement about services provided by independent contractor, it is not possible. Why? Because Ariba will say, you just put services by Manoj. Manoj is working as a contractor. Give a total value. Acha, but Manoj is supposed to work for 1 year. He might take leave every month. So the price, if I put, let's say, 100,000 USD for 1 year, what will happen if Manoj takes 12 leaves? 12 leaves, he is supposed to get one leave every month. But if he takes 24 leaves, then what will happen? It will fail. So that means Ariba is not accustomed to handle about the services provided by independent contractor. Similarly, success factor HR is also not accustomed to handle independent contractor. Now, if you combine both of these two deficiency, it will be provided by Fieldglass. So all of you will basically ask me the next question, ki Manoj, you tell me one thing. This SAP Fieldglass is good for whom? It is good for the procurement guys. It is good for the HR guys. Any SAP consultant can learn Fieldglass. Why? Because the thing is like, if you have a good mentor who can basically teach you Fieldglass, it is very easy to learn. It is not a very complex thing. Yes, if you don't understand, then it will be complex thing. But if you understand, it will not be a tough thing. Easy thing. And Fieldglass is booming now. When I started back in 2017, in 2015 December, SAP acquired Fieldglass. Fieldglass was not a SAP, organization, neither SAP company. So in 15 December, SAP bought out Fieldglass, and 2017 I started working on Fieldglass. So at that time, nobody understood or nobody knew what is Fieldglass. Now people are knowing, oh, Fieldglass is being used everywhere. Majority of the client who is implementing success factor, they are implementing Fieldglass. Who is implementing Ariba, they are also implementing success factor, Fieldglass. Why? Because of this thing. So that is why you have to be very very clear about it. So the major thing about Fieldglass is, many of the Fieldglass consultants don't understand that how Fieldglass is different from Ariba and success factor. It's basically a mixture of both. What we are doing, we are basically hiring independent contractor, checking their work, monitoring their work, and then paying them till they leave the organization. This end-to-end cycle is basically a kind of HR process, but controlled by the project management team. Project management team means whom? Suppose you are implementing Ariba and you need 3 independent contractors as Ariba consultant who will basically work and complete this project. So the Ariba project manager or the Ariba PMO team, they will take care of all this stuff, not your HR. There might be one HR involved in this thing, only one HR, but that is only for providing feedback. They will not do anything. Similarly, what happens? This SOW or contingent workforce management, whenever we will talk about, it will be basically nothing but working from the point of view of what? From the point of view of procurement. Why? Because PO and everything will also come into this picture. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. Very important stuff. Now, very good. So we have understood about the Fieldglass and all those things. What next? What are the solutions of Fieldglass? Now there are two solutions. The first one is SOW, which is called as statement of work, and the second one is basically contingent workforce management. Okay, CWM. Now here also, whenever I see some Fieldglass consultant going in front of the client, the first thing client is asking is, okay, what's the difference between SOW and contingent workforce management? That's the first thing. And second thing, which one we should implement first? Which one we should implement first? And Fieldglass consultant is saying they are almost same. Actually, they are not almost same. They are very, very different. So what are you going to do then? So first and foremost thing, I'm giving a scenario. Okay. The scenario is very, very simple. It's not, a complex thing, but a simple scenario. And what is the scenario? The scenario is that suppose you are a project manager for Ariba and you want independent contractor. Very good. All of you will say very good. So in this case, the issue is, you know that getting a good contractor is very, very tough. So what you will do, you want to reduce the risk. Now all of you will say, Acha, how we can reduce the risk, Manoj? So here you will basically ally with a consultancy company. Acha, consultancy company like Manpower Group, Randstad, right? So these are basically big uh, consultancy organizations. So what they do, they provide contractors. Very good. So what you will do, you will say, boss, two Ariba consultant I need, good consultant, okay, and we will basically work with you, but you have to share the risk, and for this risk we will also pay you more. So that means what? So in this particular case, you have to remember one thing. And what's that one thing? That is, so in this case, your what you can say, the project team, they don't want to take any risk. They will say, okay, this guy is going to come and they are going to work in our project. Very good. But if this guy leaves the project after 3 months, you have to find me a replacement. So that is basically called as sharing of risk. Okay, Manoj. So that means this is called as statement of work. Here, the buying organization will partner with consultancy to share the risk. The contractor will be on the payroll of consultancy. Okay, so this is basically nothing but your SOW. Very good. Now, what is contingent workforce management? So that understanding also needs to be there. So in this case, what I will say, that we have done the implementation, we have completed the implementation. Very happy. Now I want one Ariba consultant for my support project. So since I will need one Ariba consultant for my support project, so here I don't see too much risk. So what I will do, I will say to the consultancy that, boss, you find me a good candidate. Okay. Once you find me a good candidate and that candidate gets selected or contractor gets selected, what I will do, I will give you a one-time fee. And once I give you the one-time fee, what will happen? That's it. That's it. So that means in this case, buying organization search and select the contractor. Actually, this is also okay. Yeah. So now I think it is very much clear. So statement of work, what we are basically saying, that we are basically saying over here is very, very simple. That boss, we are basically as a buying organization sharing the risk with the consultancy, and the consultancy will have operational control of the contractor. We will not have it. Okay. But on the other hand, what will happen over here for the contingent workforce management? So in the contingent workforce management, this consultancy, they will basically find Tariba consultant. Okay. Then take them to the interview. Once they take them to the interview, what next? They will get a one-time payment, and once that payment is done, what will happen? The contractor will be under the operational control of buying organization. So what do you mean by the term operational control? Uska matlab kya hua? What do you mean by that? That means that what work to do, when to come, when to go from the office, all these instructions will be given by the buying organization to the contractor. But that is not the case in SOW. So these are the two different solutions based on the different scenario which we will implement over here. Okay, please be very, very clear on this stuff. Okay, so this is actually the meaning of what? This is actually the meaning of two different solutions. Now, how does the process happens, Manoj? The SOW flows. So then I will basically say, yeah, that is also very important to understand. So what will happen? Buyer will create and create SOW. Okay. Once they have the requirement, they will basically create the SOW. Now, once they create the SOW, what will happen? So once they create the SOW, requirement is there, they will create the SOW. by selecting, acha, we will need Ariba consultant, two consultants. Their scope of work is they have to basically complete the sprint one and sprint two implementation of the project. These are the scope in sprint one, these are the scope in sprint two. Now, once this contract is onboarded, the buying organization will say, they don't have to operationally report to me. Why? Because I have set the scope and they know what are the things which they have to complete in sprint one and sprint two. Now that is between the consultancy and the contractor, how they will finish it. I have given the work, they will basically do the work and they will basically let me know. Plain and simple, done. Okay. Now, what will happen once the SOW is created? It will go for approval. Of course, it will go for approval because if you know if it does not goes for approval, it will lead to issues. This will lead to issues, and I think all of you guys knows about it. So once the approval is done, what will happen? This will go to the consultancy. Consultancy is referred to as supplier. So supplier will accept what? SOW by adding SOW workers. Array, who is SOW worker? Will understand. Who is this SOW worker? Okay. So now I think all of you guys are clear. Okay, done. What next? So this SOW worker then basically will be called for interview. Okay, interview and selection. Once that has happened, what will happen? Against this SOW worker who has been selected, okay, work order will be created automatically by the system. Array. Against the selected SOW worker. Now, of course, it will also have approval process. Okay. Once SOW worker is approved, then what we will do? We will basically ask the SOW worker, boss, you have received your email ID and credentials. कहाँ पे? In your email ID. So, you have received it, right? So, what is the next stuff which you have to do? So what is the next stuff they have to do? So the answer is very, very simple. So the answer is SOW worker will basically click on that link. They will register in Fieldglass. Once they register in Fieldglass, this SOW worker after 1 month of work, what they will do? They will submit timesheet. Then what will happen? Buyers will approve timesheets. Then what will happen? Auto invoice. Always remember, in every Fieldglass project where I worked, they will always say that once the buyer approves the timesheet, what happens is like there is no thinking. You don't need to basically think at all. Auto invoice creation against the approved timesheet. Okay. Okay, very good. What next? Then payment. Payment will never happen in FG. It will happen either in ERP or in Ariba, but specifically in ERP. Okay. So now all of you will basically say, yes, Manoj, we understood this concept. What next? What next? So this is a standalone system. This is a standalone system. So what happens is like none of the client uses standalone FG system. So what they will do? They will always say that boss, we need to change this thing. And since we need to change this thing, we have to make sure that everything is okay. How? How? Then what will happen is, let me just copy this thing and show you. FG with Ariba. Now some of you might ask me, Manoj, why Ariba? Why not ERP? Why not success factor? You will understand very slowly, but he will understand in today's session only. Now, what happened? यहाँ पे work order will not get created. What will happen? Purchase order will be created. Where? Ariba. Then what will happen? In Ariba network. Now, why? Some of you will say, why, Manoj? The uh, this thing, like uh, what you can say, PO needs to be created in Ariba. What's the basic thing? Because PO is a legal document. So majority of the supplier will say, how will I know that you have really selected the SOW worker? So what happens is like whenever this SOW worker is selected, automatically a purchase order will be created in Ariba through integration, and this PO will go to the supplier account in Ariba network. Then immediately supplier will say, oh, I have received the PO. So it's a legal document. So that means, let this contractor start work. Now, once this timesheet is approved, This invoice actually will be created where? Once again, against the PO in Ariba. Very good. And then payment will happen where? In ERP. But remember that thing, how it will happen? From Ariba only, a payment request will go to ERP and then the payment will happen and the status update will come into Ariba. Why? Because payment never happens in Fieldglass. So this is the integration points. So that is why at the beginning of today's session, right? So when we begin our session, I was telling to all of you guys that procurement will be done, but you cannot do all the steps of hiring contractor and doing all the steps in Ariba. Some of the steps are possible. So that is where Ariba comes into the picture. So that is where FG with Ariba integration works like this. Okay. Now, what next? What next? So the next is basically all of you will say to me, Manoj, contingent workforce management. So in that case also, let me talk about standalone FG first. Now, just a moment. So in this contingent workforce management, what will happen? They will basically create a job posting. Once again, who will basically create it? Bias. Generally, this job posting basically will have some, what you can say, once the job posting has been created, what will happen? It will once again go for approval. Again, who will do it? Bias will do it. Now, all of you will say supplier will come. No, here actually you will see rather than supplier, you are basically getting something like sourcing supplier. All of you will say, what is sourcing supplier? What's the difference, Manoj, between supplier and sourcing supplier? So supplier is nothing but a consultancy. Now consultancy will basically do what? Take care of this contractor and the deliverables. Okay, Manoj. Yes, it can happen. But sourcing supplier in FG, what does it actually mean? So in this case, this guy is very, very simple sourcing supplier. They will basically say, I don't have to do much. that these guys will find a contractor, okay, bring them to you for interview. Once it is done, they are selected, they will get paid, and they will go out. Exactly. So this sourcing supplier, what they will do, they will add a worker, not SOW worker. They suggest your worker. Okay. So please remember this thing. This is a very, very important thing for all of you guys. Okay. So be very, very careful on this part. Okay. Very good. So that is what you have to understand over here. Very good. Now what next? These workers will be interviewed, okay, and then hired. Once it is hired, once again, what will happen? Work order against the what you can say, work order against the hired worker. What will happen then? Then this worker will receive an email. They will basically create a user ID password in Fieldglass, and after 1 month of work, what they will do? They will basically submit timesheet, and same thing will happen. Now, in this case also, some of you will say, Manoj, I think most probably what will happen? FG with Ariba will happen also over here. Huh? Generally, like this. How? So let me just explain to all of you guys. So instead of work order, array, instead of work order, what will happen? Purchase order will be created. Okay, same thing. Okay, auto invoice against the PO, not PO, sorry. Here it will be auto invoice against the approved timesheet, and here auto invoice against the PO in Ariba and then payment. But in success factor, there will be thing called as position ID. Now, some of you guys who are basically success factor consultant, they will understand. See, being a Fieldglass consultant, you don't have to understand that how a position ID has to be created. That's a success factors consulting job. But what they will do, position ID is nothing but a vacancy. This will be created in success factor. It will come to Ariba and automatically it will basically create a job posting. So this is coming from SF, and it will basically create a job posting, and then a buyer will check the job posting and they will submit it for approval. So now some of you guys will say, Manoj, why only the position ID, just for the position ID? And once this worker get hired, what will happen? Their profile information will be passed on to the success factor. Why only simple like this? So majority of the organization who are using success factor, they will say ki boss, it's very very simple. And what is simple? That the hiring request, whether it's a contractor, whether it's a permanent employee, should always start from success factor, so that we can keep the tracking on. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they will basically try to find out, right, that how much amount we have basically spent on what, spend on the contractor, and how much amount we have basically spent on the what, on the permanent employee. So that is why it is very very important, it is very very important where, here, that you understand this particular stuff. So that is why success factor should basically be the starting point of all your position. Okay, so please keep this thing in your mind. Okay, now, very good, we have understood this thing. Now, what are the other things, Manoj? We will do the configuration. So here we will basically maintain the rates. So before we go into configs and understand this thing, the first part in config is always rate. Now, what is this rate, rate structure, rate type, and all those things? So you are saying that you will need a Ariba consultant or Ariba plus Fieldglass consultant. So what will happen? So they will basically say a particular rate, market rate. Now you want to hire a consultant. Will the rate be same? Do you want to hire HR consultant? Do you want to hire a ABAPer consultant or niche skills like Ariba, Fieldglass, C4C, Hybris, UI5, CPI? Rate will be different. Similarly, sometimes we will use Fieldglass to basically uh, outsource our janitorial work to a consultancy organization. So the janitorial staff rate is same as that of a Fieldglass consultant, Ariba consultant, or consultant? No. So what buyers will do is like they will maintain that rate. Okay, this is the market rate. Okay, 300 or $400 per day, normal Ariba consultant. Okay, but that does not mean they cannot hire another Ariba consultant who is charging $500 per day. That guy is a solution architect. He or she can charge it. But the guiding principles is 350 or 300 USD per day. Once you go to you will say 250 USD or 200 USD per day. Once you go to other thing, janitorial stuff, $50 per day, not more than that. So that is nothing but a rate structure. So the rate structure has to be maintained as part of your configuration. Now the next thing is basically master data. Okay, what are the example of master data? Legal entities, business units, suppliers. Now here, huge thing, suppliers. Okay, so from ERP and Ariba, we will bring all the supplier. Please don't. Please don't. This will lead to big issues, very big issues. So please don't try to do that thing. Okay, Manoj. So what we will try to do then? If we can't do this thing, what we will do next? So here, what I will suggest to all of you guys is very simple. That is, you always have to ask your client that whenever you're giving the supplier list from ERP or in Ariba, make sure you're giving the consultancy name. Most probably, some of your client will not have the data with themselves. That means in Excel sheet they have maintained, but not in ERP or in Ariba. Some client will have it. Okay, so you have to remind them of that. These are the consultancies data which I'm asking for. Okay, now what is the next point? Next point is SOW type. Okay, how many type of SOW can be there? You will say, okay, master SOW, child SOW, standalone SOW. Yes, there can, suppose for example, you're talking about cloud solution implementation in Procter and Gamble. So this is a master SOW, parent SOW. Now within that, Ariba implementation, child SOW1, child SOW number 2, hybrid implementation, child SOW number 3, Fieldglass implementation, SOW number 4, success factor implementation. So that means this 4 child SOW will relate to this master SOW for cloud implementation at Procter and Gamble. Yes, this can be there. Or let's say, for example, only Ariba implementation. This can be a standalone SOW since it does not have a child. This can also be there. So based upon this kind of thing, master SOW, child SOW, standalone SOW, we can control the different parameters of SOW. So that we can configure in the SOW type. Then based on the SOW type, what we will have? We will have the SOW template. Here also we can basically configure how to go ahead and do this stuff. For each of these SOW, what can be the business rules? All those things we can basically configure. These so job posting template, as we were basically talking about, that what should be the behavior of each of this job posting, that we can control with the help of the template. Okay, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. What's the next thing? The next thing is basically the classification list. Now all of you will say, Manoj, classification list means what? Classification list are basically, you will see the job posting is dependent on the classification. Now you can basically say, okay, this job posting is against the IT, this job posting is against the uh, uh, finance, this job posting is against the maintenance. Like this, there can be different line of work or department for which you are doing this job posting, that you have to select. So that can be standard or that can be custom also, dependent on your client's requirement, but both can be configured. That also we will see. Now, general configuration. Approval. Both. We can have multiple levels of approval configuration. We can also have what? Okay. Now, what next? Next is basically uh, uh, integration. Now, some of you guys will basically say, Manoj, how to do the integration? So we have connectors, upload connectors and download connectors in Fieldglass. Then we also have web services configuration. That also we will see how to do it, where to do it. Then the last thing is basically we are going to talk about is mass data load. Now, some of you guys will say, Manoj, mass data load means what? Some of the data we have to load in Fieldglass by preparing the data first in a CSV file format, in a predefined format, load it with data, and then upload it. कहाँ पे? Fieldglass manually. Why? Because those data are very, very unique for Fieldglass only. They're not available in Ariba or in ERP. Now, once we have that information with us, what we will do? We will basically prepare the CSV file and we will load it over here. Okay. So this is basically uh, our configurations and the stuff which we are going to cover in our Fieldglass. Now, I hope all of you guys got an understanding about the Fieldglass. I think you already have an understanding about Fieldglass, right? What is Fieldglass? A basic understanding. But right now, you do have clarity regarding what is Fieldglass, how SAP has basically placed Fieldglass among its cloud solution, and what are the different things which happens, how the integration it happens, how the configuration it happens. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to take a break of 10 minutes. After the break, �絵𝐧𝐥 will basically show you that what are the things which we are going to share with all of you guys apart from this training. Okay, and then we will have our question answer session. Okay, so �絵𝐧𝐥, let's take a break for 10 minutes, and after this break we will continue with our session.
Resume the recordings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So hi everyone. Welcome back. I guess like every one of you can hear us properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Manoj, we can continue.
Yeah. So �絵𝐧𝐥, can you just share your screen and show the participant that what are the things which we will basically share with them?
Oh, okay, okay. Just a second, Manoj.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen. Uh, One second. Okay, just a second. Let me make myself as presenter. Manoj, you just continue because there is some permission issues are coming at my end. So
Okay.
anyway, just give
Okay.
me a
Let
second.
me.
Just,
Yeah.
uh, allow the permissions here.
Okay.
There is some this one. If you have few things to discuss, you can continue. Then I'll just share my screen. Just a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goodness. It's not-
Okay. Yeah. Let me just share my screen then. I hope all of you guys are able to see my screen. Iraj, I have made you the presenter. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is there is some
Acha,
glitch
that
in
share your screen is not coming, right?
yeah, yeah, no, no, that is fine, but I'm using the laptop, the MacBook, so in which like it has a lot of issues to give the permissions. Uh, okay, anyways, like I really don't want to waste much time of it, like sorting out the things here. So, anyways, guys, so what I'm saying is, this particular training in which like uh, the total duration of the training is somewhere around 38 hours to 40 hours. The total duration is going to be, and we are conducting this training only on the weekends. Okay, that's going to be only on Saturdays and Sundays. The timings are going to be 7 p.m. IST till 10:30 p.m. IST. Okay, 3.5 hours approximately on Saturday and Sunday. So altogether 7 hours we are covering over here, and all the sessions which you are attending here are going to be recorded. So those recordings only I supposed to show you, but there is some technical glitch here. I am unable to share my screen, so I'll just tell you everything verbally so that it would be easier for you to understand the things. Okay, so basically all the sessions which you are attending are going to be recorded, including the demo session, and we are sharing those sessions with you guys. Okay, that is first thing. The second would be, like, every session Manoj will be presenting his whatever the contents are there. So those contents he'll be majorly writing in the notepad only, as initially he has mentioned. We are not going to use ppts, so those are like kind of reading only. Those ppts and all you can get it means like in internet or in SAP Fieldglass site also. Okay, so the contents which we'll be sharing with you are going to be practical contents here majorly, and all the notepads are also going to be shared. And there are certain documents which are being prepared by Manoj with his practical experience. Okay, different configuration documents and all. So those documents are also we are going to share with you guys. So these are the things. And apart from this, the most important aspect here is the access part. Okay, because it's a cloud solution. It's not like kind of success factors or or anything where you can get on-prem. So this is not an on-prem solution, right? So to get the cloud access going to be little challenging for everyone. Okay, but here we are going to provide 2 months of server access to everyone, like 60 days of 24 by 7 access will be provided to you, so that whichever the uh, you know things are going to be covered, whichever the concepts are practical scenarios we are discussing here in the sessions, are also going to be means like going to be practiced by yourself. By means like whenever you have time, you'll be having the access, so you can log on to portal, Fieldglass portal, and you can do all the hands-on over there. So that's really going to be very helpful. Okay, so these are the salient features which we are offering here as part of the training. Okay, so this one was the complete detailed overview which Manoj has taken very nicely. So now the thing here is, like, if at all you are having any queries, you can raise your hands. We are going to unmute you one by one, and we can answer your queries. Okay, great. Okay, great. So Debojit, I'm just going to you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi.
Debojit?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Manoj, and really, it's a really nice presentation. Actually, I'm a bit new to this field class subject, and Nairaj, yeah, it's nicely
Okay.
arranged. Also, thanks for that, man. So, I have a
Okay.
couple of questions. Actually, I'm having around 16 years of experience in SAP, considering
Okay.
SAP technical and functional. I just want to understand in field class,
Yeah.
because in normal SAP any module if you take, we do have functional and as well as technical. So
Yeah.
technical means talking about the ABAP and all, and also we do have
Yeah.
like NetWeaver and the SAP security authorizations, all
Yeah.
required. So here in Fieldglass, how it is linked up with all other SAP technical modules.
So, Devajit, the first thing is like those things which you have been talking about, those are basically prime example of on-premise system. So, on-premise system means the application server is owned by the client, and within that, all the application has been installed. So, what will happen is like the technical person can access it and change the source code, change the data in whatever way they please. But
Yeah.
right now, what we are doing, we are basically moving to the cloud LOB solution. LOB
Mhm.
solution means line of business solution. So this Hybris, Ariba, Fieldglass,
Yeah.
they are basically line of business cloud solution. So cloud solution means this application server of Fieldglass is also maintained by SAP, not by the client. So we forget about changing the code. We will not see the code at all. Why?
Uh,
Because it is under the jurisdiction of SAP only. So
Okay.
if we need to change the code or the source code, what we need to do, we need to raise a enhancement request, and then SAP Fieldglass support team will basically do this thing on behalf of us. That's the first thing. So that is why in these cloud solutions, whether it's Ariba, whether it's Fieldglass, whether it's Hybris, whether it's SuccessFactors, you will see that it's only functional consultant. There is no technical consultant. Why? Because those technical consultants are employee of SAP. They will only have access to see the code and change the code on the request of the client. That's the first thing. Second thing, when we are basically asking SAP to change the code, that code changes will always be customer or client specific. Now let's say for example we are implementing Fieldglass for Unilever as
Mhm.
well as Procter and Gamble. So in Unilever, everything is standard, but in Procter and Gamble, we are having a lot of customization request or enhancement request. So those enhancement requests will always be exclusive to Procter and Gamble, and it will not be shown to any other client like Unilever also. So Unilever filter system will not have any custom fields, but Procter and Gamble's filter system will have a lot of customization field. Why? Because we have basically given the request. That's the second thing. Third thing is uh, Fieldglass connect with other SAP cloud solution, even on-premise solution like S4 HANA on-premise, ECC also it can connect. ECC 6.0 enhancement package, I think somewhere around I think EHP, I think 6 onwards. It can
Mhm.
connect with the help of web services. Okay,
Okay.
so
Mhm.
that is also possible. Now in certain cases what happens is like those are standard things which we can you know not break but bend those standard integration with some customizations. Okay, but
Okay.
remember, if you want to basically say there are certain integration which is not present, right, between
Mhm.
Fieldglass and Ariba, but you want to build it, or Fieldglass and ERP. So in that case, we need to use CPI, Cloud
Okay.
Platform Integrator,
Yeah,
SAP
I know.
CPI.
Yeah, I
So
know.
there we will call the CPI developer, we will give them the logic, and they will develop the interface, one for ERP or Ariba, and one for Fieldglass, and the custom logic which we will give them, they will implement it, and everything will happen properly.
Okay. Perfect. I got it. I got it. I have two more questions. Can I ask? If actually I'm taking long time. Sorry. Can I go
Yeah,
ahead?
yeah, please go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
please
Sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah. So the next question is actually I'm working in SAP HR for last 16 years. Okay, including SAP
Okay,
technical. I'm a techno-functional lead consultant. So will
okay,
it for a guy like us, like who was
yeah,
extensively working on the SAP functional side in SAP HR,
yeah.
will it be a good one for us to go in? Because I saw the hire to retirement flow is there, but yeah, like it's a external workforce, not for internal workforce. So in the
Now,
market, we would be accepted, like people will accept us as a field class consultant if you have been SAP HR expert, or they need some procurement experience, or like you should have vendor management
no,
experience.
no, 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 nothing like that, Devajit. So remember, right
Mhm,
now in the market, we don't
mhm.
have much fieldless consultant.
Yeah, I do.
We are
So
not
I
having much fieldless consultant.
yes.
So the thing is like, if you are having even some basic SAP knowledge,
Mhm,
you know, which for your case, you're having tremendous amount of experience in SAP. Okay, so that
mhm,
is more than enough. But coming to this question, that you're a HR consultant for 16 years, now you want to basically migrate to fieldless. Is
mhm,
this a good opportunity? Then I will say forget about the good opportunity. This is the only opportunity which you have. Why? Because at the beginning
mhm,
of today's session,
mhm.
I showed this thing. Okay,
Yeah.
this thing.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
now in Europe, in Western countries, this
Yeah,
contractor
I'm
percentage is
in Europe.
55.
Yeah, I'm in Europe only. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you can understand, right? Whatever I have said over there, and the AC Nielsen survey has said, this is valid March this year. 3 years down the line, this 55% independent contractor will rise to 65, 70%.
Mm-hmm.
So you are having HR knowledge, very good, but that only deals with permanent employee. But
Mm-hmm.
how about dealing with the independent contractor, which is now 55, in the coming 3 to 4 years, which will rise to 70%? So the thing is like you're having experience in the permanent employees hiring to retiring part, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Gain the knowledge on the independent contractor. Why? Because in the next 5 years, what will happen? 70% will become independent contractor, 30% will become permanent employees. So what will happen is like this will, Fieldglass will become bread and butter scenario for you rather than HR in the coming 5 years.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Yeah, it's clear. So I have last two questions. I'll put together. So first question,
Yeah,
you have mentioned a lot about Ariba. Okay. So is it a
yeah,
required thing, a consultant who is a, let's say I'm going to learn this Fieldglass one. So do I need to
yeah,
mandatorily again learn Ariba? Is it required? First question. And the second one,
yeah,
I'm a success factor certified consultant. Okay. So I
yeah,
know that
yeah,
every 6 months I need to renew my success factor certifications. Otherwise,
yeah,
SAP will not allow me to work on the admin side. Okay. So do
yeah.
we have this kind of limitations in Fieldglass? Like we need to do the
No,
certification,
no,
otherwise
no,
it will not.
no.
So no.
Certification in Fieldglass is not mandatory. I understand from success factor perspective. Yes, I think SAP has played very hardball on the success factor consulting on this part. But
Yeah.
thankfully, in other cloud solutions of SAP, there
Mhm,
is no requirement, no mandatory requirement to have a certification. Even I will suggest,
mhm,
even if you don't have a certification in Fieldglass, still
mhm.
you would be able to very easily get a job. Why? Because there are dearth of good Fieldglass consultant in the market. So it's not mandatory to have a certification. Even if you basically learn and understand Fieldglass, you can easily become a Fieldglass consultant. That's the first thing.
And
Now
then we can
coming
have
back to your question.
certificate. Then we can have
Exactly.
certificate.
So exactly. So without the certification also you can basically go and work. That means in success factor you cannot have a user ID as a functional consultant in the success factor system unless and until you are having a certificate ID, valid certificate ID, right?
Right, right.
Same thing is not applicable neither for Ariba nor for Fieldglass. That is not a requirement.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Now coming back to your question. Now this thing, okay, that okay, you are success factor consultant. Ariba and FG, is it important? Now, this will vary from person to person. Now, first and foremost thing, you're having 16 years of experience. So once
Mhm,
you learn Fieldglass, will
mhm.
you be a Fieldglass consultant? I don't think so. You will be a solution architect,
Right.
right? So in
Yeah.
a solution architect, as we have basically shown the point of integration, right? The point of integration, if you see in SOW, success factor is not coming. But on the other hand, what is happening when we are basically talking about the uh, job posting or the contingent workforce management,
Mhm,
Ariba and SuccessFactors both are coming. Now, the thing is like when somebody wants to become a solution architect, see, if you want to become a Fieldglass consultant, then
mhm,
my suggestion is learn Fieldglass. But if you want to become a solution architect, so this three skill, Ariba, Fieldglass, and SuccessFactor,
mhm,
you will be having very big projects. Okay, you don't have to think about your survival for the next 15 years, next 10 to 15 years. You don't have to basically think about your survival. Why? Because the company will say, boss, success factor, Fieldglass, and Ariba, they are interlinked with each other. Specifically right now, how
mhm,
Ariba has positioned the Fieldglass, which is basically partially integrating with Ariba as well as success factor. So if you have this three knowledge, what will happen is like all this big implementation which is happening, you
mhm,
can go and you can basically have a very niche career. Why? Because he will say that not only I can do Ariba, Not only I can do success factor, not only I can do Fieldglass, but I can architect the whole solution based on these three cloud solutions of SAP, which is very, very niche in the market. So my suggestion, if you want to become a Fieldglass consultant, then learn Fieldglass, that's good. But if you want to become a solution architect, your
Mm.
target should be both Fieldglass as well as Ariba, which will give you tremendous advantage over any other solution architect who is just having Fieldglass or success factor knowledge.
I got it. It's much clear. Thank you, Manoj. Thanks. Yeah, I really appreciate your.
Yeah, sure, Devajit. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Thank you.
Jayanti, so please unmute yourself and you can ask your query.
Um, Hi, it's the Jayanti, and I just have
Yeah,
one particular small doubt regarding the field glass because right now I'm placed in EY where I've taken the consultant job. I've done
yeah.
my ESPO certificate in PICO, so somewhere I
Mhm.
thought that even that this could be helpful for me in getting it the better place what you're saying in the market right today. So may I know the certification process for this field glass?
Okay.
Uh,
So certification basically, what will happen is like this is a cloud certification, and that's the first thing. And the second thing is like you need to show at least 1 year of experience. Now the thing is
Sure.
like this particular thing, you might ask me, Jayanti, that hey Manoj, I'm not having 1 year experience in Fieldglass. So the thing is
Mm-hmm.
like you just have a talk with your HR, and you have completed 1 year in ENY.
No, not it.
Okay,
But
so
I
my
haven't,
suggestion is,
I haven't 13 years of my wide experience in FICO and SAP. So,
okay. Now, why I'm saying this thing? Because ENY is your current organization, right?
correct.
Okay. So there you can basically have a talk with your HR and you say that I am interested in giving a pillar certification. That's the first thing. Second thing, immediately your HR will basically talk with you. And I know because ENY is one of the big four organization, they will always look up to you if you want to learn something new and improve your skills. So in this case, your HR will immediately say, once you complete 1 year, we will give you that certificate and forward it to SAP so that you can also register for this Fieldglass cloud certification. Once you do that thing, what will happen is like you will be certified. But remember again, this certification is very current kind of thing. So these certifications are only valid for 1 year. So after 1 year, again you have to keep the certification.
Oh no, my just one okay. Additional to the point that's going to be adding to your point. So every
Yeah,
year, if I want to renew my certification,
yeah.
how is that possible? Because it's very it's not an something moving or not existing means how a person can be giving certification every year. Is it so
no,
dynamic
they
Okay,
that
no,
it will be?
okay,
yeah, Jayanti, they have stay current program. So under stay current program, so they have this particular policy. That's it. Nobody can, argue with them. So this is what
okay,
it is.
okay. This is a
Stay
very
current.
good point, Eraj, which you have added. Now, let me tell you why. Because we all know that SAP also mint a lot of money after the certification, right? So, how they can mint more money? So, in Fieldglass, it's much better. 1 year. Come to Ariba. In Ariba, people are basically saying their certification is valid for 5 to 6 months only.
Yeah, yeah, 6 months
And
only.
Okay.
In
in
6 months, after
Fieldglass,
6 months, they
in
have to
Fieldglass,
stay current to write another one so that their certification is going to be renewed. Something like this. Even same thing happens for success factors. So that's how the things are working over there. Unfortunately, I can say. Yeah. But here, luckily,
Oh,
here we don't have. It's very much mandatory to have the certification. So people are least bothering about the certification rather than they are focusing more on the subject knowledge here. Yeah.
okay, because it's completely different than for in case of a FICO S4 HANA, right? Because then certification is not required for be renewing for very often.
No,
So
it's not
exactly.
that
under on-premise, right? So it's not under stay current. So you can check in Google also to stay current certification in cloud solutions. So you'll get the more information on that part. Yeah.
And
okay.
Janti, to add on this point, remember one thing. See, in Fieldglass, it is not mandatory to have a certification. Why? Because I will tell you. Currently there are a lot of projects. I think if you go and search in the big four organization only, the four big four organization, you will see there's a lot of vacancies in Fieldglass. I'm not talking about a normal IT company, I'm just talking about the big four organization: Deloitte, KPMG, EY, PwC. Okay, so
Yeah.
you will find a lot of opportunities over there and very good project to work on. But remember, certification is good, but remember, once you go to the project, in certification what happens is like majority of the questions are theoretical oriented, not practical oriented. That means the work which you will do in the project, until and unless you are having a clear understanding of how to apply the knowledge in field glass, knowledge of field glass into your project, you will get certified, no doubt. Once you have the
Mm-hmm.
certification, then you go to the project. That is where you will face the challenges. Why? Because see, in SAP what happens is like you will have a mentor who will handhold you even if you are new, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in field glass what happens is like you will see that one guy who is having a lot of knowledge, very few people will be there in the what you can say, in the organization. Then what happens is like when you will face issue, you will go to that guy and that guy will say, boss, there are other 10 consultants who are also working in field glass, they're also having the same issue, so you have to be on a queue. So what will happen, your project delivery will get impacted and that will cause escalation. So that is why we always say that gather the practical knowledge or the working experience in the Ariba project. Once you have that knowledge, then you go for certification and then you work on the project. It won't be an issue. But if you don't have that practical knowledge, that is where all the hell will break loose once you go to the project.
Okay, because now already I've started working on the live project with the timesheet, SOWs, and getting approval milestones, characteristics, and all the blah blah things. So the
Yeah.
completeness in the depth of that. So probably I've completed only 4 months in field class rather than the more in my FICO means operational things. So in there, that is where I got into the clinch that okay, let me go for the route and check what it is actually the field glass is, rather than sitting and seeing as an end user, taking the reports and converting them into the required one, structured one. So I just wanted to have a wider knowledge on this. So I thought, but getting a for certification, I have to wait for 1 year. Oh, that's really something which I have to think for certification then. Anyhow,
Yeah,
it was really a very good communication that you are given to me information for today, so I'll think about it.
thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much for this
Yeah, most.
wonderful wrap.
Yeah, thank
Yeah. Welcome, Janti.
you. Yeah, I'll just unmute Surinder. Surinder, would you please unmute yourself and come to the query? Surinder, Ulta Surinder. Uh, you need to unmute yourself, Surinder. I think there is some issue at your end. I'm not sure. Ramesh, Ramesh, would you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hi.
hi, Manoj. Uh,
Hey, hello,
yeah.
Ramesh.
Uh, as of now, I'm manager in a reputed company in Canada. I don't have any knowledge in SAP, but we use this field class to hire new resources. We also have contract management system. So,
Yeah.
are you going to explain CMS also in this course, or?
CMS is basically not part of ILLAS. So I will explain you what is, the meaning of this thing. So what happens is like certain organization, what they will do, they will have a statement of work, right?
Yes.
Or agreement in ERP or in Ariba, right? They will create a master SOW and then the child SOW or the child agreement, master agreement in Ariba or in ERP, and then they will basically replicate this thing into Fieldglass. What it will do, it will basically create SOW. If it is a master agreement, it will create a master SOW. If it is a child agreement, it will basically create a child SOW in Fieldglass in draft status, right? Then the buyer will add some more data and then they will publish it. So that's the only thing. So contract management is nothing but just a part of integration where this SOWs will get created automatically through this integration step. That also we will cover in our integration scenario.
Oh, okay, okay. So we are going to cover CMS, right?
CMSC, remember, it's not a part of Fieldglass. It's just an integration scenario. That what
Acha,
will
acha.
happen? You will basically have the contract in one defined system, and you will basically replicate it into Fieldglass. How this
Mm-hmm.
replication will work, which connectors to use, and how to configure the web services, that we are going to see it.
Okay. What about reports, Manoj? Are you going to
Yeah.
cover the
Our
reports
report
also?
also, I'm going to basically see analytical reports, how to basically create it, and certain other things like scheduling the reports. That also we will see.
Okay. Uh, I don't have any knowledge in SAP. So, do we have any
Yeah.
database connected to this, even in the cloud server? I mean, like if you want to go and query and get the information quickly, do we have any database
Yeah.
for this?
I think it will be there in the background, but we will never have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Oh,
Because the thing is like there's a cloud solution, and if we can get the access, that means this is a very big security breach. So functional consultant is having access
at
to
least
the
we can have
database,
read.
which nobody should. No,
Yeah.
nothing. No access
Mm,
they will SAP will give. Why? Because see, currently it was in the SAP's own data center till now, and
acha.
this year in August, Ariba is moving from SAP's data center to GCP, Google Cloud Platform,
Mhm.
and I think Fieldglass also will move, but not right now. Not maybe not in this year. Maybe February or March next year it will move. Also from SAP's data center to the GCP, Google Cloud Platform.
Okay, fine.
But we will never
Last
have
question.
access to it.
Okay, okay. Last question. Like you have so many students from USA also. Do you know what
Yeah.
will be the billing rate per hour in USA? Just
So
Again,
average
it
depends.
billing.
I'm not able
it's
to
Any idea?
answer this
it's
very this one precisely here, Ramesh. Like it depends upon the role which you are opting for. So right
Mhm.
from just normal SAP Fieldglass consultant to solution architect. So I'm just
Right.
telling you the mid-level one. So right now the rates are quite decreasing all over this one. More towards like contractual positions. They are having good amount of
Mm-hmm.
rates like around in between like even $80 to $100 per
Acha,
hour.
ठीक है. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Thank you,
remember
Manoj.
that is only for per
I'm
hour,
talking about
not per
per hour.
day.
Right, right. Yeah. That's fine.
They
It's
per
good.
hour only.
It's good.
Yeah. So, and that
Yeah.
too, like I'm talking about mid-level, mid-range, like how you are,
Correct,
presenting your
correct.
portfolio, how you are pitching them, and what are the, roles and responsibilities you are taking. A mid-level resource, so $80 to $100 per hour.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
Ramesh, I will basically not only for you, Ramesh, but for everybody over there, I will suggest. So if you're working in the Western countries like US, Europe, Canada, all right. So once you understand field glass, so my suggestion is don't go for a contract, permanent job. Go for a contractor job. Why? Because in that scenario kind of thing, your payment will be very, very high.
Right. Yeah.
So, and this is an irony that you are a field glass consultant and you are working as a SOW worker.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
any more
Thanks,
queries?
Ramesh.
Thanks, Manoj, for the demo. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Surender, I've sent you the unmute request. So if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and go ahead with your queries.
Yeah,
I
Surinder,
have
you
sent
can
you.
basically see, you can see a small mic button. You have to just click on it, and you will be unmuted, and then you can ask your query.
I think his microphone is having some issue. Yeah. Vasant. Yeah, Vasant. you just. I'm sending you an unmute request. So please unmute yourself, Vasant, and you can ask. Yes, Vasant. We can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me, Manoj?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Vasant, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks, Manoj. Thanks for this wonderful session. I work as an success factor EC consultant. So, so how is this integration with field class with success factor? Is it through CPI or through BIB? So how the integration is handled? And if I learn field class, do I have to learn the integration piece as well? Just help me to clarify,
Okay.
Manoj.
It's a very good question. So first and foremost thing, it's not why, Vasant, I will say this thing, that it's not like a optional thing. See, you are working in success factor, very good, but you can understand that the majority of the big project which we do is from Europe or from US or Canada, Australia, right? So there, what is happening is, along with success factor, Fieldglass is growing in numbers, and in the next 4 to 5 years, Fieldglass will have a little bit more weightage compared to success factor. And that's the major reason. What I will say is, like, you have to learn Fieldglass. That's the first thing. Second thing, yeah, the second thing is basically the integration which you're talking about here. In Fieldglass, what we do is, like, we use web services. So we will have the connectors, right? Upload connectors, download connectors. They are nothing but web services. Through the web services, we will do the configuration by giving the shared secret and then the certificate and all those stuff, right? And I think there will be small amount of configuration in the success factor also, regarding the administrative manager. And there you have to also enable those web services within the success factor for transporting this position ID from success factor to Fieldglass, and then the worker profile will also come from Fieldglass to SuccessFactor. And yes, if you become a Fieldglass consultant, the the basic expectation is that you should be able to configure everything. The advanced thing is you should also be able to do the integration. Why? Because, see, the thing is, like, success factor Fieldglass integration is not a very big and messy thing. If you know how to do this thing, it will be like just activating the web services and then giving the shared secret and then the certificate ID. That's it. And then it will start working. But the major challenge is not in configuration. The major challenge is this integration building, right? See here, I have
Yeah.
shown you one integration over here. See, standalone FG, it's much simpler. But when
Correct.
this FG is integrated with multiple things, so here your challenge is to how to basically make sure that when we will move the data, okay, and which transactional document will have uh, success factor as the source system or the field glass as the destination system. That check you have to do at every transaction level. So the major challenge is integration scenario building. So that is why we will see the integration configuration, but before that we are basically going to build the integration scenario. And how to build that we will basically teach all of you guys, so that what happens is, like, the main thing. Once you know that, then we will show you the configuration, so you can go into any project and do this stuff, this integration stuff also.
Sure. Yeah, one more follow-up question on that same, Manoj. You talked about
Yeah,
web services. Is it something
yeah.
pure technical, a functional guy like me will be able to learn and do it, or do I require any technical
It's
consultant
it's
support?
not technical at all. It's not technical at all. Okay, I am also a functional consultant. I know about this thing, and I will basically show you the configuration steps, but I will also tell how web services work in the background. Okay, so from this particular knowledge, you never have to work, you never have to write any code, neither see any code, just configuration steps you have to do. And I will basically explain all of you guys that how web services work technically in the background, but from the viewpoint of a functional consultant, so that you can also understand those things. It's not mandatory, but you should be curious a little bit that what happens in the background, what the technical guys do over there, right? So I will also make you understand that. But if you don't want that, you should overlook that. But configuration and other stuff, that as a functional consultant we have to do, and that is not at all technical in web services.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you, Manoj. Thanks for clarification.
Yeah, welcome, Basant.
Yeah, thank you. I think Surinder, your mic is on. You can unmute yourself. Surinder?
Yeah, hi Manoj.
Yeah, hello Sundar.
Yeah, I'm audible right now.
Yes, Surinder, you're
Yeah,
audible.
you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one thing is that I had a little bit confusion with this. What is field glass? And again, you are saying that external workforce management. I had a confusion with both
Yeah.
of them. Both of them.
Actually, Fieldglass is basically called as external workforce management. But what I wanted to say over here is what does external workforce management means? Because if you look at this wordings, it looks like technical jargons. So what I did was like I tried to basically make you understand that how Fieldglass comes into the picture and how procurement and as well as the HR portion of Fieldglass comes into the picture. So actually, Fieldglass is also called as external workforce management. But in simple word, if you want to understand, that is what I have done. So next time somebody says to you, what is external workforce management? You understand. External workforce management means they are basically talking about hiring to retiring of independent contractors.
Okay, then why many people says that SAP field glass like vendor management system?
Yeah, that is what I said. SAP Fieldglass is basically a vendor management system, but the definition is very, very, what you can say, misleading. Because at the end of the day, in SOW as well as contingent workforce management, what you are doing, you are basically working with external workforce only.
Yes, yes, yes. We are procuring the candidates.
Exactly. Procuring the candidates, but from the point of view of HR processes. So the procurement and HR processes both are getting intermixed in Fieldglass. And that is why Fieldglass is very, very different from Ariba as well as from SuccessFactor, but
Okay, actually,
interlinked
I
to
have
each
gone
other
through.
also.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
actually,
please
I
go
have gone through this SAP field glass also like website. They used to
ahead.
mention that SAP field glass used to find and all those things like you know find and engage the people into work like that.
Huh, so people basically is nothing but independent contractor.
See, I need to understand like SAP field glass is nothing but the external workforce management.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean? Okay, okay, okay.
So it will never basically, through Fieldglass, you cannot basically talk about internal workforce management. That is permanent employee. You can
Uh,
never do that.
actually, actually, what I understood that procurement, like initially you said, right? I know the process of the field glass, but I
Hmm.
am not able to make the difference between this external workforce management and field glass.
Okay, first of all, Fieldglass and external workforce management are same. Okay, and
Okay,
forget about Fieldglass for the time being. What is external
okay.
workforce management? External workforce management is nothing but independent contractor. Okay. Internal
Yes,
workforce
yes.
management means we are talking about permanent employee.
Permanent,
So
permanent.
what we do in SAP Fieldglass, we will never deal with permanent employee. We will always deal with
Yes,
independent contractor. So
independent work
independent
contract.
contractor is external workforce, and we are managing the
Mm.
external workforce. So that is the meaning of SAP Fieldglass. But external workforce management means what? If we say that okay, I will travel by a flight from Gurgaon to Bangalore. Okay, now first and
Okay.
foremost thing, if somebody does not know what is a flight, what is Gurgaon, what is Bangalore, we have to basically make them understand these three words, right? So that is
Yes,
what I
yes.
did. What is the meaning of external workforce management and how it is done in Fieldglass. With this example, I made all of you guys understand this external workforce management concept.
Okay, okay. You mean to say that the process from Gurgaon to Bangalore? I mean, just I'm saying the example.
Yeah, not only the process from Gurgaon. No, 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 I'm not talking about the process
No,
to,
one second, Manoj.
from
Let me
Gurgaon to
explain you
Bangalore.
very, yeah, let me explain you for you, very in a very simple thing. Okay,
Yeah.
external workflow management, take it as a concept. To deal with that concept, Fieldglass is a tool. That's it. Finish. In a very simple
Can
way.
you repeat, Airaj? Your voice is very low.
So
Can you
what?
repeat again?
Yeah, yeah. Am I audible to you clearly?
Yeah, yes, yes. Now you're audible.
So, external workforce management, you just consider it as a concept. It's a concept. Okay, it's a process
Okay,
basically.
concept, process. Okay.
Process or concept, you can say. Okay, so to deal with that particular process, the tool we are using is the field glass. Very simple.
Okay, okay. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, got it, got it. Yeah, thank
Anything
you,
if you
Manoj.
want.
It was nice presentation from your side. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome, Surinder.
Karthivaran, I'm just
Yeah.
yeah.
Good evening, Manoj and 𝐼𝐬𝐬𝐬. It's nice presentation. Um, I have a question. I am a technical consultant for the past 13 years in SAP. I'm working in a BW model, business intelligence. So, how
Okay.
easy to switch from BW to Fieldglass? And
Now,
it's a extended version of Jayanti's question. I'm sorry, but still,
yeah,
I don't know what the opportunities in my company. So that's why I'm asking.
yeah,
BW is
yeah. So
basically
this is a
completely dealing with data warehousing, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, Manoj, please go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah, so you can answer.
Yeah, so this is a very excellent question, Kati, which you have asked. So let me just give you the answer. So first and foremost thing, I think every technical consultant should understand, because I have seen I have had a lot of friends who, along with me, started as technical consultant. After 5 years, after 10 years, they had to move to functional consultant. Why? Because after a certain amount of experience, you will hit a glass setting, glass ceiling, if you are a technical consultant. Why? Because you will feel like you need to move into a bigger role, bigger responsibilities, and possibly uh, much more interaction with the business, working on the solution architecting part. So that can only happen when you basically migrate from a technical to that of a functional role. Now, coming to the functional role, field glass, I think, would be a very good option for the technical consultant. Why? Because see, specifically if you ask me that I want to be a success factor consultant, so in that case what happens is, like, you have to learn a lot of things. If you say I want to become a hybrid consultant, so there you have to learn not only the you know uh, the customer related issues and the process, but you also have to learn about that technology. But on the other hand, in Fieldglass, see, the process we have basically covered, this external workforce management, right? SOW and job posting. Simple over there. Very, very simple. But on the other hand, in the Fieldglass side, then you will say, Manoj, there are certain configurations, certain things which we need to know. Yes, that particular thing you need to know, and you need to also work hard. We will be working hard during our sessions. You have to also work a little bit down the line, so that you can also understand this thing. But once you understand this thing, you can very easily switch over from that of a technical consultant to a functional consultant, because in Fieldglass you don't have a baggage of process, difficult process which you have to learn. But what I will suggest is, I think most probably PR, PO, invoice, this basic concept you know about it, right? That what is a
Uh,
PO, what is an invoice.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So that it will be more than enough. And yes, there will be certain HR concepts. Even if you don't know it, not an issue. We will understand that thing during our upcoming sessions. So you have to basically put your effort. That means from Monday to Friday, you have to go through the recordings. You have to understand this thing. You have to then come back with your queries. Once it is done, then what will happen is, like, you can easily switch from a technical to that of a functional role. Specifically, in the market there is a demand but supply is less, so it's a very good time to switch. But if you make that decision after, let's say, 3 to 4 years, so there will be much more number of freelance consultants available at that point of time. So at that point of time, switching would be a little bit difficult.
Okay. So, but you said it, we need to have at least 1 year of project
That is for
experience.
certification. That is for
Acha, okay,
certification.
okay.
Certification
So
is not mandatory, but certification will become like a very important thing, maybe in 2024 or 2025. Why? Because at that point of time, when the demand and supply will be almost be same, right? So they will
yeah,
basically ask, okay, what advantage you have? Then you can say, okay, I'm certified. But right now the demand is much more, supply is less. So even if you're not certified, it does not matter.
okay. So it's getting a fieldless job is not that difficult, right?
Yeah. So, but
Uh,
you have to put hard work
Acha,
during the
that I
session.
agree. Agree. Thanks. Many
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, Karthivaran, Karthivaran, just to add few more words over here. you are into, I understood, like you are into BW DI side, right? Basically,
Yeah,
you
correct.
are a data warehousing guy, so you are not into, administration side.
No.
Oh, data warehousing, right? So you might be aware of some of the, concepts related with HR as well. Might be because you'll be running some BW reports also
Yeah.
related with HR as well. So there
Yes.
won't be much differences. So that particular experience, you see, always experience is required to get a job. If you are saying like I'm a BW consultant, I learn SAP Fieldglass, I want a job. Nobody is going to be. I just want to be very fair and very
True.
straightforward to you. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's a
Yeah.
matter of your career and everyone's career, so we need to give a proper guidance over there. So that is very important. So you can just tweak your resume in such a way diplomatically, showing
Mhm.
like you have little experience over it. Okay, some
Mhm.
kind of, which you can justify with our training. At least after you go through our trainings aggressively, you can get a little experience kind of, because we are, this training is not only theoretical, but we are scenarios, we are going to discuss a lot of scenarios we are going to discuss here. So you'll be getting fair enough of knowledge where you can start working on any project. That's till that end we are going to make you this. Now, as everyone
Okay.
knows, like BW market is getting dropped slowly after S4HANA is coming, because you see, analytical reports are directly getting generated over there. But still, there is some requirement, but slowly the BW requirements are getting down. Okay, so this is the
Yeah.
right time to switch to some other technologies, not only field glass but any other things, which is very much important right now, in my personal opinion. I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Haraj.
And one more thing, Rathinam, what I will say over here is, like in our last session, we will also help all of you guys in understanding that how to prepare your CV. Okay, I'm not going to basically prepare individually all of your CVs. That is not possible. But certain points, what to write, what not to write, I will basically give you ideas, points which you can write. And those things, once you basically explain it in your own terms, you can put it in the CV. That will basically justify your experience, or you can say knowledge, so that you can go to the interview and have the confidence to clear it. Okay, but right now I will suggest, don't focus on those things. Focus on learning field glass. That should be your focus. Once you are confident in that, then we will also help you in how to basically write those points. We will basically explain you those points. Those points you can basically put in your CV, so that it will be very easy for you to go to the interview at that point of time with a lot of confidence.
Okay.
That's a great thing.
And
Thanks.
once again, yeah, thanks, Karthi. And once again, thanks, Eraj, for being, very brutally honest. And I think this is one of the, very important thing. Uh, Whatever work you are doing, this is a very important thing, and this is what we call as integrity. So this is a very important, what you can say, hallmark of a great person.
Thank you,
So,
Manoj. Thank you.
thanks, Eras. Yeah, thanks,
No
Eras, for,
problem.
you know,
Because it's a
by
matter of career.
placing
I
out those
also.
points.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Manoj, for pointing out these things. Yeah. So, Rishabh, would you please unmute yourself and can go ahead with your
Yeah.
query?
Hi, Manoj. Thanks for the uh, field last session. So my question is, I am working as a Ariba consultant, S2C. So,
Yeah,
and you have mentioned about the field glass integration with Ariba. So,
yeah,
in this in the training that we also going to see the integration between the Ariba and field glass.
yeah. We are basically going to see the Fieldglass site integration, and there will be certain integration on Ariba side, like the endpoint settings, right? And the web services will be there. The task will be there, right? Those has to be enabled. So yes, those things also we are going to see.
So, in this case, the CIG is going to use, right?
No, 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 no. We will not use CIG in this scenario.
Okay.
CIG is between Ariba and ERP. We will
Mhm.
never use CIG for Fieldglass. Why? Because that is why I, told specifically that whenever we are connecting Fieldglass, we are connecting with the help of connectors and web services, not
Yeah.
through a middleware, not through a middleware.
Mhm.
So CIG is not used over here.
Okay.
CIG is basically, Rishabh, is going to be, cloud to on-prem majorly. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so even like S/4HANA Cloud also, if you're talking, we have different methodologies of connecting.
No, I'm just
But
connecting to between the architecture like I have seen in Ariba. So I'm just comparing with that only. So that's I have never gone to field glass, so that's why I'm asking.
yes, a very good
Yeah,
question here. So we have a different
yeah.
integration methodology here,
And to
Rishabh.
add to your answer, Iraj,
Yeah,
Ariba Cloud with that of S4 HANA Cloud, only
yeah.
option is CPI.
CPI, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
great. Even Manoj also worked extensively in SAP Ariba for almost 6 to 7 years, and then later on he switched to the Fieldglass right now. So he is having very extensive knowledge in SAP Ariba as
I think one more thing you know, Iraj, let me just be clear on this part. I'm working in Ariba and Pildas both.
well. Yes, Manoj. Yes. Great.
Yeah.
So, I think Rishabh, do you have any other queries? Please go ahead.
No, no, no. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Debajit, you have one more
Yeah.
query. You can unmute yourself. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
hi.
Thank you,
Just got
Rishabh.
there. Yeah, once again. I have one
Yeah,
query. Like,
Debajit.
all of us are mostly a professional. We're working for a customer, and it's all our profiles, company names, everything is there in LinkedIn and everywhere, right? So let's say
Yeah.
we are learning here, and now you are appearing for the interview. So how can we
Hmm.
put like that we have worked upon field glass, because we need to write those things in the CVs, right? Otherwise our profiles will not be considered for the interviews, because
Yeah.
mostly the
So,
screening of
Debajit,
the profile. Yeah.
this is a very good question. So let me just tell you. So, this is not the first time we are getting this question. For the last 5 years, we have been doing this Ariba trainings and then this Fieldglass training. So, as Iraj pointed out, we have to be diplomatic. And yes, we will basically give you some tips and how to basically cover for it.
Hmm.
The thing is like immediately at this point of time, we cannot say it. Why? Because until and unless you join our sessions, what happens is like it will become a private group, because this will go out everywhere, right?
Mhm.
So here we cannot basically directly say that what are the things which you have to do. But in our private batches, what happens is like there we know the recordings will stay within the batch, it will not go out. And there we will basically tell you point by point that how you have to basically justify your work experience. That we will basically say, and that has been giving result and it will give. But we don't want to share it right now in this recording, because this recording will
So
go out
it's a
this
kind
will
of
go
open forum. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, actually, I saw a
exactly.
couple of openings still there. Like SAP is looking for a long time. I can see that SAP is looking for a field glass consultant. But when SAP
And it is
knows,
still not filled, because I will tell you specifically, I think there is one from Finland and one from Sweden, which they will give me a call after every 2 weeks, and it is happening for the last 4 months. They are still not able to find a consultant.
oh, okay. Yeah, and I think, and we'll get this support for as a alumni group, like from this group, from you and Rajo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah, no
sure,
problem. Even
definitely.
even you can call me off the session also. I'm just pasting my number to everyone. So if
Hmm.
anyone of you are having any such queries or any technical things to discuss with me separately, I'll be very happy to explain them. So I'm just pinging my number in the chat window. You can note down it. Yeah. So
Okay, perfect, perfect.
that
No
would be
problem. Yeah,
very
thank you,
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
Debajit.
welcome
Thank you,
Devojit.
thank you, Manoj.
Most
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, welcome
So
Devojit.
is there any more queries, guys? Please unmute yourself and you can ask.
Yeah, hi Manoj, Vasant here again.
Yeah, yeah, Vasant.
Yeah, so you talked about the recordings and you'll be sharing the recordings, correct, of the session.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
will will there be any time frame for those recordings, or it will be permanently with us? Those recordings.
The it will be shared with a G drive, and that G drive access will not only have the recording but the documents and the access and everything. And access will be valid for 2 months, but the G drive validity with the recording and the documents will be for the lifetime.
Okay, okay,
So you
fine.
can watch those
Okay,
recording even after 3 years, even after 5 years also.
To add that
sure.
one more point here, yeah, to add one more point here, this is a very good question which I have missed it. like the recordings will be there which are going to be from the current batch. Okay, now we have certain concepts which we are covering. In future down the line, for example, after 3 years or 4 years, a new important concepts are coming over here, so those things you no need to go somewhere and upgrade yourself. So we are going to upload the new batch important concepts recordings also in the old batch, so that the old batch also going to be get synced with the current whichever the changes, the delta changes, whatever you say. So those things are also going to be over here. That part is
Sure. Thanks, Raj. Manoj, one more last question. So we
Yeah.
know that success factor every 6 months there will be a release from SAP. So how about in
Yeah.
case of Fieldglass? So how soon they will
So
release the
Fieldglass,
new one?
Fieldglass actually do have a monthly release, but those releases are very, very small. Very basic change it will do. It will never change your whole process. But sometimes what happens is like something very huge changes will come, but that will be like maybe after 2, 3 years. But there is no guarantee that after 2 years something new will huge will come always. It's not like that. So what happens is like this monthly upgrades will be there. This will be very small incremental changes which will not change your configuration, neither your process very much. It will basically change the themes. It might basically add a new optional field which will not affect your process. So those things
So
are basically found in the release readiness, and it will be basically be available in the Fieldglass portal only.
so those are something like a patches, right? Not like a release kind, like a
You
patch
can say
upgrade.
like that. Actually, it's a release. It's a release,
Oh,
but its behavior is that of a patch upgrade
okay.
because it will
But
not affect your process much.
okay, it's not something like success factor. They will release a new new feature or deprecate some of the old processes once in six
Huh,
months.
yeah,
Something
yeah.
not
that
something.
thing, not in 6 months. It can be after 2 years, or maybe Ariba can skip. Let's say for example, they might come up with something new in 2023. But if you go by the 2 years time frame, so you will be expecting something in 2025. So they might not release in 2025. They might release in 2026. So it depends. So in the cloud solutions, specifically for Fieldglass also, what will happen is like there will be thing called canvassing. So client will basically say, I need this new feature, and the more other client upvotes this thing, and SAP realizes that this new feature needs to be added, then they will start the development. And once they do the testing, after that they will release it. So it's a very long process.
So something like a Confluence page currently what they have, where we raise an enhancement request in SAP.
Exactly. So the same thing happens, but then again, a lot of client has to come up and support that
Basically, it has to
new
have more
requirement.
customers.
And no, there are a lot of customers in Fieldglass, but all the customer need to support it, saying, okay, we need it urgently. Then they will basically start to look at that matter.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
sure, got it. Thanks, Lodge. Thanks, Airaj.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Welcome, Vasant.
So I guess most of the queries been answered. There are some more hands were raised, but some people have lowered their hands. I think their questions has been already answered. Okay, guys. So if anyone is having any more queries which is not been asked for here, you can raise your questions. Otherwise, we can conclude our session for the day. Uh, I think Manoj, nobody is having any query. Fine
Yeah.
then. So we can conclude the session for the day, guys. will be uh, will we be having system access? Yes, Shiva. System access will be given for 2 months, as we discussed in the middle. uh, there will be 2 months of continuous system access. That's very important because unless until you are having any system access, it's very difficult for you to practice and get mastery on the tool. Yeah, definitely will be giving 2 months of system access, and this access, it's not possible to get it anywhere in the market. Very difficult. And if you are getting somewhere from some source, the system access won't be of much configurable potential, because the system access which we are giving you here is having the full almost all the accesses where you can do the configurations thoroughly, which is being shown in the sessions itself. Yeah, that is possible. System access will be given for you, no issues, along with the training. Fine then, guys. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your patience for sitting over here and listening to this one. And the registration process are already been going to start from tomorrow. So the next Saturday is going to be the first session. Next Saturday we'll be continuing with this one. Indeed, I can say this is the first session, which is a stepping stone for the upcoming sessions. So the regular sessions are going to be there from next Saturday onwards. So the registrations are already open, and we have limited intakes here. Like we are taking only 15 participants, not more than that. So you can start connecting with our sales consultants who are in touch with you. They'll be helping you out for the further process. Thank you so much. And apart from that one, if you are having any queries, you can directly connect to me. I have already pinged my number over here in the chat window, so you can connect to me. And thanks a lot, Manoj, for your very nicely, uh, you know, very nicely you have shared your knowledge, your experience here in the demo session. That's really a very good insight of SAP Ariba. Maybe they are going to enroll or not, but they'll get like a lot of participants have got good idea about SAP, what is SAP Fieldglass, and what how they are going to shape their career accordingly. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Manoj.
And
Really
and
appreciate.
one more thing, Eraj, this is a team effort. Our sales consultant, you, me, and all the participant.
Yes, really, you are such a generous person. Thank you so much, Manoj. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, guys. So
Yeah.
we shall move the session for the day now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.